Welcome back, everybody. Going into part 3 of tonight's episode of Nebula Jazz. So while Rex is out not having sex with people, the rest of you, where do you go? Like, Rex just kind of takes off with this alien lady. What do you do?
I probably spent some time trying to talk to the cube.
Okay, yeah, let's cut in on that because I have an idea there. So yeah, when we fade back in, you are standing looking up at this 2-story graphite kind of matte black cube. What are you saying? What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like it's been like not so much time that we would have left yet, but enough time that we're all just sort of out of ideas, and I'm kind of crouched on the floor just looking at this cube like I mean, it's like you all like share stuff, right? You all share thoughts, and like this is like your thing, right? So like maybe this thing is also like part of the thoughts. So maybe like that's how you know, right? Like the way that you let people in is because based on like everybody else, right? So when Rex was here, you should have let him in because like you guys know Rex, right? And like Rex was like really important, right? So like why wouldn't you let Rex in? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Are you
Now,
there,
like,
Cube? It's me,
yeah, literally,
Artemis.
I'm literally just like word vomiting at this cube, just like, it's
Okay.
like what do we got? Like,
I'm gonna offer you compel, Artemis.
okay.
And it's not a behavioral compel. It's that you're just disguised, and the Alexatronians, as data absorbers that they have access to the scanner data that you schmoozed your way past, but still had to go through. And I think that the embassy is just now getting notification that there is a Mingasi on board the station, and put the 2 and 2 together and realize what you are, if not who you are.
Sure, I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. So if it wasn't clear, I'm compelling your hopeful Mingasi urchin here, the Mingasi part particularly.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I think we see is while you're talking, we see you through the cube as though it were a transparent surface. So there's
It's like scanning my face and shit.
yeah. And so while you're speaking, we see the dots on your face, is sort of mocap like facial recognition. And as you speak, there's a little blue line measuring your speech, and then it brings up an image that's of some Mingasi photographs, still images.
I don't see that, right?
Yeah, you don't see any of this. And then a green light blinks, match, like pattern match. And there's a noise. There's like a boom sound on the outside of the cube.
I like fall over.
Yeah, and a glowing blue spot, just a circle, fades in through the surface. What you fall on your butt, and you're just like looking up at this cube.
Hello? I like look around to see if like Basil and Luna are there.
Oh, Basil looks down. He's like, "Well, you've done it now."
What do you mean? We were trying to get it to do something. Like this is what we wanted, right? I kind of like wave in front of it, like, hello?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it changes in intensity. There's a darker spot that acts as sort of like a pupil and follows you back and forth as you move your arms, and then it says in a voice that sounds sort of like distant and sort of robotic, but comes from the cube unmistakably, says, "What is your purpose here?"
I like look at Basil.
We're here to inquire about a map.
The cube, I think, opens. I think that we see along the bottom, starting at the bottom of the cube, and then working its way up to about a height of 6 or 7 feet. The squares kind of break away and fold in on themselves. So we can see into the shadowy interior of the cube, which, as it opens, as this door kind of folds back and in, glows from above with a faint grayish light.
Basil looks down. He's like, "After you."
Wait, but Rex isn't here.
Well, maybe it opened for us and not Rex. Did it?
I like start to. I walk in.
Okay. It closes behind you. The door like shuts.
Wait,
The
just
cubes,
after
like,
me?
roll up. Yeah.
Basil like walks into the wall and is like, rude.
Yeah, and the light fades and it just goes back to being a cleared surface.
I jump when I hear it. Turn around behind me and I start patting on whatever.
Yeah, so now you inside the cube, you can see the street outside. You can see your friends. You there's this smoky surface, this glass surface. You put your hands against. You can see them.
Oh, wait. We're a group. Can you open it? Can you open it back up, please?
Can I get a +1 or?
Yeah.
So there's a voice that seems to come from everywhere. It sounds like the highly like reorganized, sort of digitized and then undigitized voice of like an old man. And you hear the voice say, "You are a Mingasi."
I'm kind of like dumbstruck. I don't say anything.
Out of the floor, a series of cubes emerge to make the shape of a chair, and the voice says, "Have a seat."
I just sit.
Okay, so you sit down. Outside, what are your friends doing? Basil and Luna, what are you doing?
Basil is just standing there, staring at the wall, and muttering under his breath about how they're about as close to organics as you can get, so they're on the list as well. And just like talking shit to a wall, but like, not loudly, just like, I swear I will destroy you and everyone else that you know and love. Just like shit talking a wall.
Perfect. Luna, what are you doing?
I'm just standing next to him. Yeah, keep going. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'm serious. I'll kill them. Every last one.
I'm sure you will.
I will. It's part of my programming. I know many ways.
Well, you might want to get started then, because, now we have 2 people that we're missing.
They'll be back. They always come back.
And then as he says that, I start tapping, just tapping on the cube with my pen, making little ticking noises. So just looking for any sort of opening, but obviously I'm probably not going to find it. So.
Okay, so you're just kind of thwarted outside. So
Yeah.
inside, we see this chair made of, it's basically big Lego blocks of this kind of semi-transparent smoky material, and you're sitting in the chair, and the voice says, "Where did you come from, Mingasi?"
I don't know. Sorry, do you have a body or something? This is just really weird, just hearing a voice.
There's a flicker in front of you, and you see a shape kind of coalesce out of light. It's like a ghost, almost like blue, see-through, and it looks like they wouldn't use a human, like the grandpa thing they were using for Aurora to display to you. So I think instead it's a sort of like a tall, perfectly featured blue hologram version of a Mingasi. And he looks at you, and as he speaks, his voice changes from the old man and takes on a slightly more Mingasi, like an imperious tone, and says, "Are you more at ease now?"
Honestly, no.
And he sneers and he says, "Unfortunately, your ease is not a priority for us."
Look, we just came here to hopefully have some help with a map. That's all that we're here for. There's nothing else.
You came to us for help.
I'm with Rex. You guys know Rex. You know Rex.
There's a moment where the hologram holds as if it's accessing, and then it sneers again and says, "You're going to have to be more specific, girl."
He's oh God. Okay. He's a shark guy, and he was with this girl, oh God. I can't remember her name, but she's a human. There was a human girl and a shark guy named Rex. You
And
know Rex.
the hologram, they say, "We know the sentient of which you speak."
Great. I'm with. I mean, he's not outside right now, but he was. So why wouldn't you guys let him in?
We have no further business with this sentient. Now you interest us. And he's like walked up to you and is kind of like doing that like walking around the back of the chair thing where he's like just like getting like a good look at you as he walks around.
Why? What do you want?
Do you know what happened to your people?
I mean, I know that they did a lot of really terrible things and that they all got sick.
Do you know why they got sick?
Sorry, I don't know why you're asking me this.
Why we ask is irrelevant. Do you have an answer?
No, but it sounds like they deserved it.
Whether they deserved it or not is irrelevant. Did Rex tell you what happened?
Rex doesn't tell me very much.
Would you like to know?
What is the point of this?
And so he's finished his like long walk around, and he says, "The most important thing to an Alaxatronian is information. I believe we have some interesting information for you." And he holds out a long, slender, perfect hand, hologram hand, and we see at first a series of images, right, from the previous season, right, things about like the and it's all from Aurora's point of view, right, because she was spying for them on purpose or accidentally the whole time. And so we see that initially, but instead of sticking with that, we see Artemis's face, right? The holograms reflected in your eyes, the reflection of the light on your face, as the Alaxatroni ambassador basically lets you know that like Rex is directly responsible for the execution of all the Mingasi, right? That he pulled the trigger. Him and his friends did this thing. And so this will take some time, like letting you know this, but that's the scene as we sort of fade out. And Rex, where do we see you? Are you heading back to the embassy?
Rex he is at the bar. He's having a drink on his own, and he kind of striking up a conversation with the bartender, and
okay,
he kind of opens with, "I suppose you're in the information transaction business, are you?"
And he looks at you, and he says, "What do you mean, friend? Of course."
Rex kind of shrugs. He's like, "I'm not as coy as I used to be."
He's like, of course. I'm in the information business, friend. I mean, every bartender is, aren't they? I mean, the bartending is just a secondary business. We all sit in our bar, polishing glasses, waiting for some rugged adventurer type to come in and ask us this very question. Why, I've served 12 or 13 of your kind in the last few days. What can I do for you, mysterious stranger? He like leans on the bar.
Is this satire? I honestly can't tell. Rex
He
looks around the room,
and he says, No, mysterious stranger who's here to collect information to help them find out something about their obviously tragic backstory. I'm not being ironic at all. In fact, my species is completely incapable of it. We are very good at commenting on our current situation, however. I suspect if I'm not going to help you soon, you'll do something violent to me.
Rex kind of like, oh boy. Okay. I am trying to get this map read. Now, I need Laxitronian technology to read it.
And he looks at it. And he looks
What
at
have you got for me?
He says, this is the part where I'm supposed to play coy and tell you that I don't know, so that you'll pay me more. But I'm aware of someone that could help you. I just have to do this.
Rex, he looks around again. Can people hear him?
I don't think so. I think everybody's kind of just ignoring
All
him.
right. Rex is just like, okay, cool. Well, name your price.
And he says, I'm going to offer you a price that's obviously exorbitant so that you'll engage in violent behavior with me to convince me that you're here to get what you want, that you're a dangerous individual. I have to warn you, though, and he points across the room, and you can see a group of like equally dangerous looking like gangster types sitting and looking, and he says, anything you do that's violent towards me is going to incite them to come over here and pick a fight with you because they think they're the toughest ones in the room. You're going to fight and best them, which is going to convince me to help you.
Rex kind of like gives him like a, are you sure? Look.
Yeah,
like,
and he
gives you
nods.
like a really.
And he nods, and he says, if you're going to throw me into the bottles behind me, don't worry, they're all empty, purely for show. I do this quite regularly.
No one's ever been so candidly forward with this transaction. I've just taken.
Yeah, and
back
he
to the-
leans forward, and he like pulls on his lapels, and he says, "Whenever you're ready, sir."
Like, all right, you laid it out nicely. Just grabs him and hurls him towards the bottle rack.
He just gives like a little look, like, "All right, here we go," and he actually helps you when you pick him up, and he's like,
like holds onto my hand.
Kind of throws himself into the bar, and there's like a crash and some glass, and like everybody looks over, and there's a lot of very dramatic, like, "Oh, what's happening?" And then a big meaty hand comes down on your shoulder, and you hear someone behind you say, "What do you think you're doing?"
Rex kind of like tilts his head, and he's like, "Fuck me, he was right." And just turns around and just tries to punch the guy in the face.
Right. Okay. So you turn around and give the guy a punch in the face. Make a forceful roll.
All right. What a guy.
And we'll say forceful difficulty 2.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So you turn around, you sock the big guy in the mouth, and he staggers back. And one of the other little guys looks at you, and he's like, "You're obviously much tougher than our boss, based on the way you just punched him in the face. We're all too nervous to attack you, so we're gonna come at you one at a time. Are you ready?"
This is ridiculous.
Rex looks around, he's like, "This can't be real."
And they all kind of look at each other. And the guy you just socked, he's lying on the floor looking up, like, okay, I don't need to get up yet. Like, I'm still, oh no.
Rex kind of like realizes that the way to continue the dialogue is to play along. So he yells that, and then he composes it, and he's like, "All right, I'm ready."
Okay, so the first guy's like, "All right, here we go," and he like throws himself at you. What do you do?
I just grab him.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you wanna, what do you wanna, like, you just grab him and like throw him on the ground, or what do you do with him?
Just a good old fashioned use his body weight to chuck him across the room style.
Okay, all right. Make another forceful roll.
Okay.
Do this one. This one, it's difficulty 3, but get a +1 because he's helping you.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So you grab him and you throw him across the bar, and in order, as he slides across the bar, everybody picks up their drink. He slides under them and they put it back down, like just in a wave. And then he crash lands off the other end. And then the next guy is looking at you as you turn, and he's like, You can see him counting like with his mouth. He's like 3, 2, ah, and he like lunges at you like ah, and he's gonna try and get you. What are you gonna do with this guy?
Jeez. The pauses between action is like Rex.
Yeah.
He's like he has to think about it. Normally doesn't think about it, so he's kind of like I think he just grabs a bottle and tries to like bottle the guy.
Okay, yeah. So you reach over, and instead of grabbing a bottle off the counter, we see a hand come in off frame and pass it to you. Like someone puts the bottle in your hand.
Right. Yeah.
And then you like smash. Yeah, you just reach out and you feel it, and you like smash it on the guy's head. All right, forceful, same thing. Difficulty 3, you get a +1 because you're getting help. Nice, no problem. All right, so you smash the guy on the head, and he grabs his hand, he looks up at you, gives you a thumbs up, and he falls over. You hear a weapon, like you hear the of a gun, and you turn, and the bartender is standing there, and he's pointing this space shotgun at you, and he says, he's like, "This is the part where I have to threaten you to leave," and like points it at you. I'm in control of this situation, not you. And the guards are all like looking at you like, he's so in control of this situation.
Rex kind of like he like raises his hands a little bit, and then he kind of pauses and he's kind of leans in. He's like, what do I do?
And he leans over to you and he says, all you have to do is knock the gun out of my hand. Or if you want to, you could take it from me. That would be very impressive.
Okay, Rex is kind of like, he nods, and then he just attempts to like snatch the gun and like flip it on him.
Yeah. Roll quick.
Okay.
Difficulty. This guy's like definitely on your team. Let's say difficulty 2, and you get a +1 with help.
All right.
I love how you're almost every one of these rolls
I would normally fail. Yeah.
Yeah, so you grab the gun and flip it around. He's like, "Oh no, my gun has been taken from me!" And we cut over to a table, and there's a man and a woman, two aliens sitting at the table with some drinks. And the woman looks at the man and she's like, "I'm very excited right now. He's a much better specimen than you are." And then the guy is like, "Yes, I'm feeling very self-conscious about this situation, and I would like to go and fight him, but I'm not going to." And she looks at him and she's like, "It's probably for the best." And then we cut back, and you've got the gun pointed at him, and all of the like goons are looking at you, and the big guy on the floor is looking up at you, and the bartender with his hands up, he says. "Now that you have me at a complete disadvantage, I'm going to tell you whatever it is that I know."
Rex kind of hesitates a little bit, and then he's like, "All right, I need to read this map." And then he like raises his voice a little bit aggressive, and he's like, "Tell me where I can find someone to read this map."
Yeah, and so everybody in the like pretty much
raises the
everyone
gun.
in the bar just kind of like nods, like yes, he understands, like it's going great. And you threaten him with it, and he puts his hands up and he's like, yes, I'm very intimidated by you and wouldn't imagine lying to you or giving you misinformation. I'm going to reach into my pocket now. I'm going to take out a mysterious data slab and I'm going to give it to you. And he does. He reaches in and he takes out this like very mysterious looking like alien like data slab. He puts it on the table and he slides it over to you, and he says, "There's an address on it. If you go there, someone will help you. But I have to warn you: as you leave this bar, a mysterious stranger is going to follow you out." And you look over, and there's somebody on the side standing in the shadows. Like there's literally a light that's been knocked out. There's somebody you can't quite see, but they're definitely there, and they're just looking at you like,
Rex like nods and takes the disc, and he like puts the shotgun on the bar. He's like, "I don't want to come back here again," and kind of like turns to walk out.
Okay, so you go to walk out, and as you leave, you walk by someone who they're not a Sharkanoid, but they're dressed in basically exactly the same clothes as you. Maybe they have like demon horns or something instead. And the two of you like stop and kind of like give each other like an up and down. And what do you do?
That's what Rex does. He looks at the guy, and just walks out. That's it. It doesn't say anything.
And so the two of you like pass each other, and we can hear in the background, we can hear the bartender say, "Can I get you something to drink, stranger?" And the bar behind him, there's all the broken bottles and the shelves. They all flip around, and there's a bunch of new empty bottles as this guy approaches the bar. And just like the bartender promised, as you leave, this mysterious stranger follows you out.
What just
You're
happened?
having way too much fun with this.
What just happened here?
It's great. They're doing what they're doing what they know based off TV.
Rex heads for the cube.
Perfect. All right. So you head for the cube. So yeah, the data pad that the guy gave you is it does just have like an address somewhere on the station. And yeah. So meanwhile, back in the cube. I guess if you go to pick up your friends, maybe we cut to that, and you walk up and you notice that Artemis is gone. Rex.
Okay. He looks at I look at Basil. Where's the kid?
Inside, sir.
Inside that?
Basil like looks around and he's like, "Where else?"
How did she get inside?
Persistence.
Wait, how long she been in there?
Basil like looks up at the where the sun would be and like
the
does
artificial like
and,
gray
like
light.
does this whole like
Well, I think
sticks
before
his
you
figure out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
as you're about to do that, you're like, and you like go to answer, and that's when the cube, the surface of the cube, kind of like folds open, and we see Artemis inside, limned in blue light. And Artemis, you've gotten the whole story. You know now that Rex and his friends are responsible for unleashing the plague or energy thing, whatever happened to the Mingasi. It's definitely their fault.
Right.
And what does Artemis look like? We see the cubes kind of fold away. We see you in this Alaxatronian light.
Artemis has definitely been crying. There's like
because you're wearing your weird like dark makeup, so there's just
makeup.
streaks in
Yeah,
it.
so there's
Oh my
like
God.
there's
So for a
weird where like
second-
she's like
So for a
wipes away
second,
tears.
you look like and maybe Rex, you see this. You look like like an Agaran, right? Because you have the weird like mascara looking like makeup on your face, and it's all streaked like the way their facial markings were. And then you realize like obviously it's Artemis.
Yeah.
And then realize she's upset. Something has happened.
Yeah, so my hood is down and I've obviously like wiped my face a bunch. But the look on my face is just really frustrated. And I look up and Rex! I like get up.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Nothing. Can we go?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we can. Basil, this address. I found that guy.
Basil looks down on it and he's like, "Oh yes, I totally know where this is." And looks back up at you and he's like, "I have no idea where this is."
I know you have no idea where it is. I'm just saying, find where it is.
Is the like robot hologram still in here, or am I just by myself?
No. Yeah, it's just kind of like ejected you out and then become the clear surface again.
Okay.
Basil just walks away like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll find it." And just like walks towards people to ask them where this place is.
I suddenly realize that we're like outside and really self-consciously like pull my mask up and pull my hood over my face and just kind of like like do one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's hard to find your way in the station if you want to head to the place that this guy told you about.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we fade to a sort of a more like bizarre area of the ring. There are stalls all over the place, and then behind the stalls there are shops, like proper shops. Everything here is very like dirty and smoky. And I think we see somebody leading a pack of sort of ostrich-looking creatures past you. Yeah, there are people kind of coming and going when we see you kind of milling through the crowd towards this place. And it's a building. There's an open door, a big glass window, and in the window there's a tank, a big tank of water with some kind of like aquatic creature in it. And then the dim kind of yellow light of the shop behind illuminates from inside. And there's a big sign above it, but you can't read the sign. It's written in some strange alien language. But this is definitely the place.
Basil turns around. He's like, "This is definitely the place."
Rex quite practically leans in. He's like, "Well done, Basil."
Thank you, sir.
Is it open?
Yeah, you can just go through there's a hologram of a beaded curtain you can walk through to get inside.
I literally, that was what I was envisioning. Yeah.
Totally.
Rex,
yeah.
Rex
So there's
kind of
it looks like it looks like a beaded curtain until Rex walks up and waves his hand through it and just like flickers and then you just pass through it.
Yeah.
All right, so the group of you walk in, and the inside it looks like a weird kind of like a antique shop. So everything on the shelves serves no obvious purpose, and they're all made out of like crystal and metal. We see probably a few kind of ancient earth artifacts, maybe like a Rubik's cube on a shelf or something. And then in the center of the room, there is this big glass tank with a kind of squid-like creature in it. The tank has a speaker attached to it, and when you walk in, this place is big. There's a bunch of stacks out into the back, and as you walk in, the speaker, the creature inside, its head throbbing, says, "Welcome, friends. Are you looking for something in particular, or have you brought something to sell?"
We're looking for something actually.
And he says, "You've come to the right place." And he says, "I have all sorts of exciting things. What sort of thing were you looking for?" And he's like rubbing his little tentacles together and kind of like pushed up against the side of the thing. Now his big eyes.
Rex holds up the device and he's like, "I have a map that I need to be able to read."
And he looks at it and he says, "Bring it closer."
He presents it.
Okay. All right. So he puts his tentacles up against the side of the glass and like mushes his little face, and you can see he's got these like huge kind of glowing eyes. He's sort of like a silvery color, and you can see under his skin little flickers of electricity. And he says, Mingasi. And
I like bristle at the word a little before I realize like what he's.
Yeah, he's not talking to you.
Yeah. Like.
And he says, fascinating, valuable too. You're sure you don't want to part with it?
Fortunately not.
That's a shame. I don't know that I have anything that could read the device, but for a fee, I could examine it for you more closely.
At this point, sure, why not?
And he says, Good. I will admit to being quite curious about what's inside. I have a particular talent, you see." And he reaches like another tentacle up against the glass, and he says, "Objects tell stories. I can hear them speak. It is exhausting. I'll have to shut down the shop. You there, girl." And he turns a big glassy eye towards you, Luna. He says, "Will you? There's a switch by the door." And you look, and you can see there's a switch near where the hologram is.
Yeah, I just walk towards it. I'm like, okay. So.
Okay, so you pull it, and 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 the door, like a door shuts, shutters come down over the window. The place gets a little darker. There's just kind of like harsh light coming in from outside in slats through the metal that's closed off the window. And he says, usually these things are done by appointment only, but my curiosity has gotten the best of me. Come with me to the back room. And the tank lifts up, and you can see that it's on treads now. The treads fold out underneath, and it rumbles towards the back of the room. This big like circular tank that he's in.
Okay. Rex follows the tank. This isn't any weirder than the bar.
Okay. So you follow the tank, and he goes into the back room, and in the back there is a basically like a swimming pool sized pool in the back, just this big room of still water. Maybe there's some bubbles kind of in one end, and there's a bunch of different. You can actually see down in there. There's a big like plastic or styrofoam or something stone castle. And some fake plants like kind of floating in the water, and the tank rolls up to it and then lifts up and pours him into the swimming pool, and he floats out into it and floats over to the edge, and his tentacles come up out of the water, and he says, "I have a transactor there," and points with a tentacle, and you can see what's essentially like an ATM. It's a transactor where you can go and he says, "My abilities are expensive, but you look driven." And he says, "I can perform this service for you for 5,000 credits, which you don't have, Rex."
Yeah. Rex kind of recoils at that, and he's like, "That sounds like a lot to look at a map."
But what price is appropriate for knowledge hidden away, revealed?
Here's the thing. I feel like at this point you want it as much as I do. And if I was to leave right now, I'd say you'd feel unfulfilled.
And he's very hard to read because he doesn't have any like humanoid features. His huge kraken eyes just kind of blink. And he says, "Perhaps we can make a deal."
Besides, I'm a traveler of sorts. There might be many things I come across in the future that I'd need you to look at.
Ongoing business, a promise for the future. Unreliable. We don't know each other well. How are you approaching this? It sounds like you're being pretty like straightforward. Like, let's just cut a deal.
Yeah.
You could try to intimidate him if you want to, but
I guess I'm intimidating him in the threatening of withholding the information. Like, I feel like at this point he wants to look at this map as much as I want to know what's on it.
Does anyone else speak up, or why there's a moment of vignette where these two are talking at the edge of the swimming pool / aquarium, and the rest of you, where are you? What are you doing in this room? There's more shelves of stuff, things that he hasn't moved to the front of the shop. There is a sort of airlock where he'll go and work on objects. Where do we see the rest of you?
I would say I'm checking out the shelves and what's on the shelves right now.
Okay. Yeah, there's a shelf that he's got a bunch of glass vessels with strange like life forms, obviously dead life forms, but life forms like corpses floating in. Some weird things you've never seen before. Some that you can't tell if they're organs or if they're like a whole thing.
Okay.
But that's definitely the kind of thing that would catch your attention.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. So where's Artemis?
Can I try to discover an aspect about this
guy?
Yeah,
so you're like assessing the dude?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And how do you do that? Is that just by like listening to him talk, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like I'm trying to figure out like what this dude is all about, because like I'm hearing Rex sort of making some bold claims. Like, I think that you don't really care all that much about the money. You want to know what this map is, and I want to see if I can tell, even though he's not humanoid, I want to see if I can tell like whether or not his demeanor changes to like confirm or deny that sort of feel.
Okay. Let's have you roll. And I think I'll leave it up to you. Like what stat do you think? What approach is the one you're using here?
I would say that I don't want it to be obvious that I'm like watching him. I think I'm being kind of sneaky about it.
I was gonna go with sneaky too, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead and roll. Let's say
Got a 3.
Three is fine. Yeah. I was gonna say 2, so you're good. Now if you want to, you can spend a fate point to make this better. Right now, for discovering an aspect, you get let's see. Yeah, you'd have to spend. I think you'd have to spend more than 1 to make it worth the bonus one. So there's no point.
Okay.
3 is good enough. So yeah, let me see what you could discover about this guy. I think you can discover his trouble aspect, which is, I mean, Sam already picked it up, and now we have a mechanic for it. He's infinitely curious.
Okay.
Which is useful to him, but not always the best. I'm just filling out his character sheet here. Okay, cool. So yeah, his name is Zyquoz the Discoverer, and I will place it. And one of you, doesn't matter who, one of you has access to a free shot on Infinitely Curious.
Cool.
Okay, so you're observing. What are you doing, Basil?
Basil is in the front entry, whatever that doorway was, and he's like facing outward towards the street. And anyone who looks even remotely like they might be headed in the direction of walking in, he's like giving them a death glare. But because he's a sex bot, everyone's very confused about what they're like. Is this like his programming? Is he trying to come?
Is he playing hard to get?
Dominatrix one?
Yeah, is this like,
no one can figure it out, but everyone's avoiding it. They're just like,
Okay. All right. Cool. So you see across the street, people are coming and going, but one person is just like staring at the outside of the store. Now he's wearing a bright orange spacesuit, like with a space helmet and everything, but the helmet is up, and he has a face that I would say the closest thing it looks like is like a chimp, like a chimpanzee, but he's kind of a greenish color, and he's standing across in an alley, smoking a pipe and like just staring at the store.
Basil notices him.
Green chimp, yeah.
Yeah, Basil notices him and that he hasn't left, and he thinks he's staring directly at him, and all he does is go like, perverts. That's it. Yeah, okay. He doesn't consider him a threat or important. He just thinks he's a weirdo, like staring down a sex droid.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Gross meat things.
Yeah. Like ugh.
Okay. All right. So meanwhile, in Zyquoz's inner chamber, Rex, do you want to try to manipulate Zyquoz into doing this for the information?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you can roll with forceful.
Okay. I mean, I'm fucking broke, so we don't actually have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to do something. You have to convince him. So I'll roll against you, and then we can talk about aspects if they need to come into play. I got a 2.
I got a 3.
Okay. So I'll spend one of mine to bump me up to a 4.
Okay.
You have a free hit, Sam, remember, on Infinitely Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or now that you know his aspect, you can offer me a compel.
That would have to conclude after the rolls though, right?
Yes, yeah. So you can if you like you can throw this, you can be like, fine, like being forceful is not going to do it. But then anybody can offer a compel, right?
But you could still refuse the compel.
I could, yeah. But if I do, I have to give you a fate point.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Rex realizes that this might not work. And
Yeah, so you try to be pushy with him, where you're like, it's in your best interest to do this, or I'm just gonna leave. But he realizes, I think, that like, you're just as in deep as he is, right? Like this, you're not just gonna go somewhere else. Yeah. So does somebody want to compel that infinitely curious?
I'm down to.
Okay. So what do you do? You can either do it through your character, or you can just tell me like, I want to compel him to.
Yeah, I want to compel him to, like, in the moment that we're kind of packing up to leave, that he's just like, oh, but I gotta know, like Mangasi stuff. You don't come across that all the time, like he really wants to know what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll take the compel for sure. So as you kind of give Rex a look, like, let's get out of here. Like this squid's not going to do us any good. He says we watch him a moment as he kind of like wrings his tentacles, like clacks his little beak nervously, and then you all hear him through speakers that are set up in the like little room. You hear him say, "Wait. I'm going to regret this. Rent is expensive on this station, but perhaps I will never see you or the disc again. And knowledge is more valuable than credits. Bring it to me. Here." And he like kind of squirts away over to the little workstation that he's got, and he heads over to that area, and he says, place the disc, and he hits some buttons on his end, and a little pedestal like raises up out of the water.
Okay. Rex just kind of like squats on his knees and flops on there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He reaches out with a sucker-covered tendril and places his hand on the disc, and then lifts his other tentacle up out of the water, and it like is right near you, Rex, and he says, "Hold still. This can be a bit uncomfortable."
Okay. Rex hold
okay.
still.
Yeah. So he just like puts a tentacle on your face. You feel the like suckers stick to your head, and he like wraps his tentacle around your head, and then he touches the other one, and he starts to glow. And for everyone else, this only takes a few seconds. But Rex, you immediately like fall away from the room that you're in, and are bombarded by psychic emanations. You see a golden palace. You can see the bright light of stars. It's all coming at you very, very quickly, and it's hard for you to keep an eye on like what you're actually seeing. Do you want to try to make sense of it, or do you just kind of go along for the ride and hope that he does something?
I want to try and make sense of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How do you do that? How do you resist the like psychic waves that are washing over you?
Rex thinks about eating the guy.
So you
Shit.
just think about like that it doesn't, whatever happens to you doesn't matter because you could just kill this guy if you wanted to.
He focuses on the eternal hunger of the Sharknoids. And
So you retreat from the world and you go to your hungry place.
yeah, he goes to his hungry place. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I like that. Okay. So it sounds like you're resisting with forceful in that case. Because it's like force of will, right? That's keeping you together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Difficulty 4.
Okay.
Oh, you got a 5. All right. You're good to go. Okay. Great. So yeah, this nothing can overwhelm you when you know the deep emptiness that is the eternal hunger of the Sharknoids.
That being hungry as a Sharknoid is the greatest pain of all.
Right. So Yeah. So for everybody else, let's get as we see Rex, we can all see Rex kind of like grit his teeth and snarl a little bit, dealing with the psychic onslaught. What is Luna and Artemis? What are you doing? Artemis, are you like close by, watching nervously? Are you pacing? What are the two of you doing?
I'm opening some of these jars.
Dick. Okay.
I'm like sitting here opening the jars and like sticking my like a little like poker, like a little stick in, and just like playing with the things and smelling it. So I'm just studying these things right now.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Those descriptors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Artemis, what are you doing?
Yeah. So all that, like from my perspective, all that I see is that everything was fine, and we were gonna look at the map, and now suddenly like Rex is like struggling. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I would be hovering like kind of close, like trying to figure out like is he like in pain, like what's happening, like can I help?
But you're not gonna like jump in and do anything. You're just watching nervously.
No, because he doesn't look like he's like dying or anything. He just looks like
he's having a bit of a rough time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Rex, I guess we cut back to your interior world, and I think you're able to resist the negative effects of this, but we don't get any clear like indication of anything, except at the end we see the disc. And we see it sitting kind of flat, and a golden light being projected underneath it and through it. And it's infinitely complex sort of lattice work structure. We can see the disc is actually made up of like micron thin layers that, by use of some Mingasi technology, reorient themselves so that the light coming from below projects a star map above you onto the ceiling of your mind, or the blank space. And when you feel the suckers pop off of your face, you have this map like burned into your memory. You can see the stars, and one of them in your mind's eye is like glowing clearly for you. And we see this happen. And before we go to break, let's get a reaction shot from Rex as the tentacles like unpop and like peel away from you.
Rex is kind of dumbstruck for a second, and then he realizes that he focused a little bit too much on the hunger. And
so we just see you like kind of like drooling, staring at this calamari to be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we see your lips peel back, and the sharp row of teeth. And let's cut to break there, and we can see what happens when we get back, because I think we're all reaching for our pile of fate points to compel Rex here. So stick around. We'll be right back with the conclusion of today's episode, Nebula Jazz. Don't go anywhere.